let's jump into the first story in that regard. Here we go. Let's get into the news. We got this from Timcast.com. Human remains of missing paddleboarder found in pond at Obama's Martha's Vineyard estate. The man has been described as a black 43-year-old, but his identity has not been made public. Now, at the time of this writing, we did not know. Now we know that it was Obama's chef. Obama's chef was paddleboarding. This is Dom Lucre says, dead body found at Obama's Martha's Vineyard estate in search for a black 43-year-old male paddleboarder who drowned in the pond attached to the estate. 911 call was made from ex-president's $12 million property last night. And shortly before 10 a.m., the body of the missing paddleboarder was recovered from Edgartown Great Pond by Massachusetts State Police divers. MSP Underwater Recovery Unit made the recovery after the victim's body was located. So, okay, it was his chef. What's going on?
Well, Michelle did say he was like family. It's just too bad he knew too much.
So this is the thing, right? What's the most likely scenario? Occam's razor. Obama's chef went for a paddleboard ride.
Most likely.
Drown.
It's not somebody. A Clinton. If it was a Clinton chef, you'd already find the bullet hole.
Did you see that interview?
They'd be like drowning.
Did you see the Anthony Weiner?
They would say he drowned. They would say he asphyxiated underwater because the water entered the bullet hole in his lungs.
Yeah, exactly.
If you haven't seen the Patrick Bet-David Anthony Weiner interview, when he talks about the Clinton body count, Anthony Weiner goes off the rails for like 20 minutes. It's hilarious.
Oh, Anthony Cumia and I did it once, and it's like, how many people commit suicide running through the woods yelling help and get shot in the back?
It's just a normal thing that happens. I don't know why you would question that.
But to be fair, so I've gone through the Clinton body count thing, and some of these things are big stretches. Some of them are really weird.
Yeah,
right?
Some of them are a big. I do agree. There was
that journalist in the 90s. I think it was in the 90s. He was like working on the CIA, and then they said he killed himself by shooting himself twice in the head, whatever. Yeah. And then people will try to explain it away like, well, sometimes, these horrible things happen. People fail and they try again. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. But a lot of them are like, an accountant at an insurance firm the Clintons once used, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, or a plane crash, like unrelated.
They do play a lot of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon in order to get there in the connection. A lot of them are just like, I think they met once at a cocktail party, but then there are some that make no sense at all.
For sure. And then the question is this because the Clintons are doing really evil things?
Yes.
Or is it they are.
Oh, sorry.
But not in this but I'm saying in this specific context.
Yes.
Like in terms of, the Clinton Global Foundation and their donations. But the question is like, are they just very powerful people who are very well connected with other very, very powerful people in a tight circle? So you hear stories about security, military, prominent intelligence. Those things happen all the time. My point is it unique to the Clintons? Or if you actually looked, would you find something similar with the Obamas?
Probably.
And that is not to say that the Obamas did anything wrong or the Clintons harmed anyone. I'm saying when you're in these powerful positions of wealth and prestige and international relations, I mean, come on,
like outside the United
espionage
States.
And
if we're not in this like lovable rainbow and butterfly democracy that we happen to live in right now, power struggles and people's lives, like I don't think life expectancy is very high in the center of power in like communist dictatorships or anything. People offing their friends, their coworkers.
No.
I am going to pull up this one YouTube clip and just say, because...
Is it from their ring cam?
No, it's from...
It's not from their kitchen cam?
It's from a Marvel movie.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We should have said ring cam.
So when I read this story, this is the first thing I thought of. I immediately was like, what's that movie where the guy is like in his house and the cleaning lady leaves and then she comes back in because she forgot something and the guy goes, Winter Soldier. And we have it right here. I'm not going to play the clip. I just want to show you this. This is the scene. So what's his name? Alexander Pierce. He's talking with the Winter Soldier, who's like this former Soviet, assassin.
Yeah, the other Obama chef.
That's right. The cleaning lady leaves, and then she like forgets her phone, and she walks back in, and then Pierce is sitting there, and he goes, "Oh, Renata, I wish you would have knocked," and then he just shoots her.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's the first thing I thought of. Like, why would the chef be paddleboarding at the Obama's house? Mm-hmm. It's like I understand you're a chef, but like we have people who come and clean the office. They don't hang out in our backyard and go skating. And like if you found them in our, deer blind or whatever, it'd be weird.
It's like a level of comfort you're not expecting. I will say there are some private chefs, especially with these like more remote private states, that'll come spend the week there and they have a place that they stay and maybe he just had like the afternoon
probably lives
off.
there is my guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is weird.
But we have seen the rapids of a pond.
Yeah.
There's another person allegedly with him. Is that confirmed or denied? I don't know.
Also, were the Obamas there at the time? That's kind of what I want to know.
I wonder how big the pond is. Well, also it's hot. There's a heat wave. Could have been drinking.
Or like if you just fell off and hit your head and like
that does happen.
You know what I mean? Like
someone called 911. Apparently, they called it in, so someone knew he was under the water. Who was it?
So is this? I mean, maybe he was drowning, and they're like, "Help, help."
That's very possible.
yeah.
I feel like there'd be more that we would know. I just hope everyone's okay.
Yeah. I hope everyone's okay. It does
But
seem
they're not.
like we're not
now
getting
that I
all the
think about it.
details, right?
Yeah, it feels like something's being hidden, and I think it's always because it's an ex-president.
And I think
former
it's weird that
president.
we haven't gotten because we haven't gotten the Obamas were not there at the time. That makes me assume they were on the estate, which like might explain why their personal chef was there, but also I don't know. I feel like there's something off.
The Post Millennial has this. They say in the past, Campbell is his name, wrote the words "still can't swim" in a hashtag on Instagram.
So then why was he paddleboarding?
On 8 feet of water?
Huh? Is that
That's
what it was? I
risky.
mean, ponds are not very big.
It's a foot and a half
What
off.
is a pond?
They're muddy
let's
at the
find out.
bottom, so if he hit the bottom, his feet might have got tangled up.
That's true. It's like quicksand.
Or like I'm
in
saying,
Mario.
like if he like lost balance and there's one rock there and he hits his head and then it's that he's unconscious and then he drowned. Like that sounds awful, but the reality is occasionally these things happen. And
No, they
there's
do.
No foul play.
So what defines what a pond is? It says the technical distinction between a pond and a lake has not been universally standardized. Blah blah blah. Some regions of the U.S. define pond as a body of water with a surface area of less than 10 acres. You know what? I can just pull up satellite images of Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Like if I was there with the dude and he fell off his paddleboard, I would immediately go in the water after the guy.
Yeah.
Unless we were
swimmer,
both
though.
blazingly hammered or something like.
Do
if
we
he was-
know?
Or like you go in and
Even
he's
if
still
I-
unconscious when you get him out, you still have to call 911.
I feel like in my drinking days, I would have gone in for sure. Like that wouldn't have prevented it at all. I
Maybe
would
it was
have.
that may not have helped at
I
all.
would have been more heroic. I would have been like, I got this, guys. I'm a swimmer.
with one arm.
Yeah,
easier.
and then someone would have came in and got us both.
So I only have a general idea of where the Obama's house is.
It's Martha's Vineyard, but I
Yeah,
don't know
but
where.
there is an area that's called a pond. I don't want to pull it up because I don't want to. Everybody knows where his house is. You can
Right.
Google it, but but there is a pond. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I don't know how deep it is, but it looks like decently large enough to go paddleboard on, and so I don't know. I suppose everybody there's gonna be a lot of people who would prefer it to be some kind of deeper conspiracy, but the sad reality is
Probably not.
some dude who couldn't swim probably just fell off his paddleboard.
I was probably had a couple.
Yeah, good.
You're saying
point.
he was found at a depth of 8 feet and about 100 feet from the edge of the shore of the Egerton Great
Yeah,
Pond.
that's not good.
So that seems.
He
not
probably didn't get out
good.
very far and realized paddleboard sucks. He was like, I'm going to go back. Slipped.
Tafari Campbell. He was a sous chef at the White House during the Obama administration and stayed on with the family when they moved to a private life. So I guess the question, did he live with them?
Probably if he stayed with them for that long.
Yeah.
He's probably lived at the house.
And I think that's not crazy, depending on like how
No.
big and how wealthy you are. Like housekeepers sometimes live in like wealthy people's houses.
Yeah,
Like,
mine
go.
does.
8 feet.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Could you imagine being
I have one of their bodies.
just 2 feet of water above you and you're like, there is air and you can't get to it?
No,
Yeah, that's-
especially like how tall is this guy, right? Like if he's over 6 feet, that's just 2 feet. Like
Yeah, for me,
Oh,
I'd
it
be
really
like,
freaks me
it's
out.
pretty far. But for him, that's a distance.
You know what I don't understand? I don't understand
distance.
not being able to swim.
Well,
I understand some people can't. I'm just saying
you grew up with a pool or access to one.
that's how he got his name.
sometimes.
I mean, you're
actually
Tim
a
Pool.
misnomer,
That's right.
yeah.
You know
That
how to
could be
swim. This guy.
But
was
we
born
didn't swim ever. I mean,
Did you get?
What I don't
swimming
get is how to
lessons when
just
you were-
No,
go like
never.
this though to get up to the surface. Like I feel like dogs do that.
You
I
got to
guess-
learn to cup your fingers. That's the biggest part.
Yeah.
If you know. Keep
So
it tight.
what I was told when I was
go
little,
sideways.
when I was younger, because I asked how do people not know how to swim? It's because they panic
Yeah.
and they just start hitting the water instead of actually.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
aspirate.
Well, there was that actress, is it Naira Rivera? She was in Glee, and she drowned 1 or 2 years ago at this point. And part of the story was like, it's not that drownings happen so often there, but she was getting her son out of the water, and they think just in that circumstance, it's not that she couldn't swim, but like the panic of trying to get her child out and whatever was happening.
Oh,
increased
that's
likelihood.
right.
Remember
yeah,
that story?
wasn't that in like the ocean or something?
I think it was
Yeah.
in California on a lake,
Yeah,
but I
maybe
could
it was
be
like
slightly
okay.
wrong.
I know it was in Cali. Yeah.
I think that's one of the weird things about drowning. People feel like hopefully some part of your brain kicks in and says get to the surface. But if you're really panicked, you can become kind of irrational.
Well, it's not. So my understanding is that
I had a friend who
with drowning
drowned recently in a pool, though, and he grew up with a pool. I might have
because
hit his head.
it's an involuntary reaction. When you begin drowning, that's what happens is the water goes in your mouth, you try to breathe, and then people's hands go straight out, and they just panic. Like I shouldn't say panic. It's that's not what I'm trying to say. It's like an involuntary reaction, and people don't realize they're drowning because they're not freaking out and splashing like crazy. They're just sitting there at the water level.
I think what it is God created a water world and a land world, and we're invading it.
Yeah, we kept the salt water inside of us.
Yeah, like we shouldn't be in there messing around with their habitat. You don't see whales walking around. Like we take them and bring them here.
Could you imagine
be.
if like dolphins built land ships and were just like driving around?
Yeah, just like looking at us,
You're anti-water sports.
watching you through a hole in the fence.
I think about that a lot. We're like amoeba that have created this like sealant around our salt water. We just carry it around with us. It's freaking wild.
Right, it is. Yeah, so I think we should just stay out of there. It's our fault.
What have we done? Are we amphibious?
Yeah, we've brought it upon ourselves.
I think
So you
technically we
back.
are.
you don't think it's Obama? You think this man who drowned knew too much about the water? He saw something there.
They saw him and they were like, "What are you
The
doing?"
mer
man?"
people in the pond were like, "Get it, get it."
They were like, "Look,
There's
we've
probably
made it
beavers or
clear."
something.
Yeah, you don't know what's living in there.
The Naga.
You don't know what he took from the White House. Like, you could take one thing, and he took like a monster that lives in ponds.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.